right, hey, sports fans, welcome to the Inside Sports Studio for this edition of the Arizona Sports Report. For all of you in the greater Phoenix area, we got it all for you. Everything from the Cardinals to the D-backs to the Suns to the Phoenix Coyotes, who are making a fantastic Stanley Cup effort right here at this time. So, you know what, without further ado, I'm out here in Southern California, but I got a man stationed in your area out there in Arizona. Without further ado, here we go. My man in the desert, Sean Goyle. Sean, what's happening out there in AZ, homie?
A whole bunch of stuff is happening out here under the sun, my friend. And that's right, fans. I am stationed out here in Phoenix, Arizona, just for you to get all of your Arizona sports up to date. Like you said, Coyotes are making a stellar run. D-backs are doing strong. Let's say we get into this.
Well, you know what? That's good. And we'll go ahead and start with, obviously, the toast of the town is the Phoenix Coyotes right now. But we're going to go ahead and start with the D-backs, and then we will roll into the Coyotes. So D-backs still continuing along a somewhat indifferent path, shall we say. Now 14-13, 5-5 in their last 10 games. What's going on out there?
Yeah, we did just finish up April. Now we're heading into May. In April, they went ahead and finished 12-11 as far as their record goes. You're right, they won 5 of their last 8 games and are currently second in the NL West, with the Dodgers leading by 3.5 games. But keep in mind, by this time next week, both teams could be even in the West. Hopefully last night's game against the Mets will give them that springboard to go into the winning streak, as the D-backs won the game 5-4 after trailing in the 8th, 4-2. But Justin Upson got a base hit off of on a grounder against first baseman Ike Davis for the error. Luckily, then Jason Kubel was walked. Paul Goldschmidt hooked a double to right center, and Ransom followed up with an RBI single. They went ahead and captured the win 5-4 last night, which was really good. But it's what's coming up next that's going to be a real issue for them.
All right, coming up next, do tell.
Well, what is coming up next is what we have seen, and again, the reason I say that the Dodgers and the D-backs are going to be evenly paced is because the Dodgers have steadily declined since the beginning of April. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and Sunday the D-backs are finishing a 10-game road stretch, which with the final game against the Mets. Now, if they can win these last 2 games, they will have gone 7-3 on the road. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy stretch coming home, because they are going to be facing the St. Louis Cardinals 3 games at home. But again, if they can get that springboard launch and winning these next 2 games after they had that great pickup after coming back in from the 8th of the last game,
right,
they should be able to even out this series.
Well, then, after that, after St. Louis, then they have the San Francisco Giants, who have been rather user-friendly lately, and then they've got a 2-game set against the Dodgers after that.
And that's right, and that's what's going to be really exciting is because the Dodgers also are going to be playing San Francisco before the D-backs and the Dodgers meet up.
Right.
And that series against them is really going to be the deciding factor of who's going to be in the lead in the West.
Exactly. So things moving along out there. And plus, I got to share a little bit of a personal note for everyone out here in Southern Cal, even though this is the Arizona Sports Report, but had a great thrill at the Kings game the other night. I got to meet... I've met him before, but up there, Vic the Brick Jacobs, the Southern California sports radio broadcasting legend, was hanging out up there in the press box. And, we didn't have a cold one because there was no cold ones up there, but we would have. So just wanted to give him a shout out right now.
All right, very cool. You guys share at least an Arnold Palmer or an iced tea or something?
We did.
You didn't get to have...
Yeah, we did an Arnold Palmer. He put in the lemonade, and I did the iced tea. It was a complete group effort. You would have thought we were in a union the way we made that thing up, man.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch over from the D-backs, though, to the toast of the town, the Phoenix Coyotes. Who'd have ever thunk it? The Phoenix Coyotes in their series against the Nashville Predators. The Coyotes are now but 1 game away from the Western Conference Championship. Playing for the Western Conference Championship in these Stanley Cup playoffs here in 2012. They've been getting it done, man. How about the Yotes?
How about them, man? How about them?
Yeah.
If they do win this coming Monday, it will be the first time that they've gone into the month of May going into full win in team history. And, last night they did great. They had a one-zip win where Mike Smith had a great shutout, stopped all 25 shots on goal. Currently, Phoenix is leading the series now 3-1. In last night's game, too, Shane Doan had the lone goal with an assist from Mikhail Vodker. And, just kind of looking at it, I think really where a lot of confusion might have come into play for the Predators in this last game is that Predators coach Barry Trotz decided to sit forward Alexander Rodolov and Andre Kostiason again, because what he stated, and I quote, he didn't want to change a winning formula.
Right.
But by my standards, winning one game doesn't mean you have a great formula created.
Well, it's like this. Here's what happened was, well, he suspended them for violating curfew, which,
Correct.
If you read between the lines, here's what may have happened, which I have from sources which I cannot name. But when it said violating team curfew, what happened was Alexander Radulov and Andre Kostiason, they went out for a night of Russian drunken hoe chasing. That's what they did. So they got suspended because hoe chasing is against the team rules, at least outside of the team guidelines. So he suspended them. They came back with a great effort and won Game 3. So what he was doing was just sticking with that lineup. So, I know there was a lot of people who were saying that the GM should not have suspended them at this time of year for something that is a quote-unquote minor infraction. But, I think he's looking for answers. Who knows what would have happened? But, hey.
No, and, I agree, taking them out from the last 2 games, I think really did bring some confusion again to the team. And, again, this is one of the reasons I'm glad that I do this show is because, you can go ahead and show me that breaking curfew really means chasing hoes. And who would have guessed that? Fans don't have any idea about that, so that's really good that you could bring that up. Now,
hey, you know what, homie? I keep it real. I've always kept it real. You know that. That's how I roll.
That's right. If you ain't going to keep it real, then there ain't no point to listen anyway.
Exactly.
Now,
so, you know what? Let's talk about that. Mike Smith and, just playing fantastic. Goaltender Mike Smith, just standing tall in the net. He's been the anchor for them throughout the whole playoffs. A few weaker moments notwithstanding, but Mike Smith is getting it done. Shane Doan, we always talk about him, but Mikhail Bodker also, and the man at the helm there, Dave Tippett, keeping everything together, making everybody believe, and he is the man behind that winning system they have there in Phoenix as well.
Yeah, he's done a great job with this team, especially with some of the struggles that we went through holding third place for so long throughout the entire season, and then at the end just making a great run there. And he's really done a well job with 20-year-old Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's been a stellar player for us and a great defenseman. Now,
Absolutely.
Here's what I also saw in the third period of that game, though, is with Nashville having a chance out-shooting Phoenix 10-5 in the third, but with those top 2 players out, they couldn't convert those shots to goals. And even the fans really tried to help the Predators, giving them a spark, giving them a standing ovation with the third period timeout, and also throwing a catfish onto the ice. But, the attempts were futile. Phoenix closed them out, and they did a great job with it. Now, here's what's really coming, though. If they're able to go ahead and gather this win that's coming up, they're coming up and going to be facing them on Monday.
Right.
Finish the series 4-1, can hopefully find some rest, but it doesn't look like they're going to get much rest with the Kings the way they're playing right now. I mean, they're crushing the series. They may sweep the Blues, and if that happens, there's not going to be any rest for either team.
Hey, you know what? The Kings, I was out there at the last Kings game, Game 3, baby. They're taking down the Blues, and the Kings playing every bit as impressive, or actually, when you come down to it, maybe more impressively, looking at the competition they faced than the Coyotes. But who would have ever thunk it at the beginning of the season if you had said Kings Coyotes for the Western Conference Championship? I think people would have had you committed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have been throwing rotten tomatoes at you, man, like they did in the old times. Now, and then here's another thing about this team that I've seen them really grow in this series. In the last series, if you remember, I had shown the fans that Mike Smith had stopped 77 more shots on goal, whereas in this series, it's only 7 more. So the other 5 players on the ice right now are really putting forth a great effort and helping out Mike Smith.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. Fantastic. And that's the thing. You look at the team effort versus, when if your goaltender is winning series for you, a lot of times that can only hold up for just so long. You need to start playing. And when you see those types of numbers, the shots on goal, the possession time, and things like that start to even out, that's when you know that you're playing good team hockey. And that's the kind of stuff that, Dave Tippett teaches, and that's what they're doing now. So I think they're getting really hot at the right time. And I am shocked that they have handled the Predators like this, coming that close to a 4-game sweep against the Predators. So some fantastic hockey being played out there, and I hope you make it out there to that game on Monday night, a closeout game which would propel the team into the Western Conference Championship. You got to be at that game, man.
Yeah, I'm going to make a serious effort trying to get out there. After going to last series' Game 5 and seeing it go into overtime, being a part of history and that excitement, getting into this Game 5 and seeing them win and finally getting into the Western Conference playoffs, the Western Conference Finals, it would be a great thing to be a part of that. And plus, maybe I can go over to the Coyotes and tell them, hey, you're welcome. Because, I'm the guy who criticized Mike Smith in the last game. And I think he might have heard because he stepped up his game this time, didn't he? He
did. 1-0 shutout. But you know what? I will say one thing. Now, hockey is a hotbed of superstitions. The last time you went to a game, though, they went into overtime, but they did lose. So, if they start looking at your record, you better hope they win that game on Monday night. Otherwise, you're going to have to ban yourself from the stadium for playoff games. That's just the way it goes.
And see, now I have to go a little hood on that one and just say, well, I got to bring up old stuff.
There you go, man. All right, so that's it. We got Diamondbacks. We got Coyotes playing fantastic hockey. Of course, the Suns are done, and we're waiting on the future of Steve Nash, see what he's going to do. And then, before we know it, it's going to be football season, and Larry Fitzgerald and all the boys will be getting ready to go at it at the arena there in Glendale, which sits right on the same lot as where the Coyotes play as well.
Right, and fans, keep in mind, we're going to be one of the top, I know it's just preseason, but we're the first team that's going to face the Saints.
Yeah.
And, you'll get to see a little bit of what they're going to have to offer, especially with Jonathan Vilma and some of their top defensive players now on different teams, and what they're going to be bringing to the table.
Yeah. There we go. All right, Mr. Goyle, those are final words from Arizona out there?
Fans, keep an eye out again for the Arizona Sports Report shirt. Small Indian guy with a nice full beard. He's going to be at that stadium hopefully on Monday in Jobbing.com Arena.
All right, so Indian, which you could be mistaken for, well, never mind. Anyways, okay. We'll just leave it at that. So, hey, always a pleasure to go ahead and do this show with you.
As with you, Chuck.
All right, fantastic. That was Sean Goyle out there in Arizona. So this is Inside. This was the Arizona Sports Report. Thank you for joining us. So for Sean Goyle out there in Arizona, I'm Charles E. Smith Jr., and we will see you next week with the Arizona Sports Report.